And welcome to another edition of Thoughts of the Roundtable with me, Matt Rebar.
And me, Paul Laux.
And how have you been? It's been a minute.
Good. The birthday show today.
Happy birthday to you. Can I sing that? Is that in public domain?
You can. You know what? I was actually telling
to
my wife about that we were at a restaurant and they started singing Happy Birthday. And she was like, I thought they couldn't do that.
No,
I was like, ironically enough, it is now, I think was it last year, it finally came in public domain.
Yeah.
And then that spurred off the conversation. I don't remember if we talked about this last week. Next year or the year after, all of the original Disney stuff is falling into public domain.
Really? Like I thought they were still trying to fight it to be.
Well, I'm not talking about like the current rendition of Mickey Mouse. You remember like the OG Mickey Mouse?
Like
he kind of like
Willie.
Yeah, he kind of looked like blocky and stuff like that.
It's not.
That was the original Mickey Mouse and all those like the racist ones.
Yeah.
Like those are falling into public domain. But what they do, Disney does a lot. It's because they were almost in public domain again, but they lobbied the government, basically paid off the government to pass a law to extend
the copyright law. I think the copyright law was best when it was in your possession until you died. Right? Like, that just made sense.
I thought it went 50 years past your death.
Oh, yeah. I think now it's 50. But, like, to me, it's like, okay, the second I croak and someone's like, oh, we would love to reboot Thoughts of the Roundtable with Matt Rebar and Paul Laux. Like, go for it.
But with that logic, all the Michael Jackson songs would just be straight up public domain.
And I don't feel bad about that.
What about, like, a band? Okay, so...
Like, okay, well, maybe if Michael Jackson's kids really needed the money... Okay.
Wasn't last year the most... last year, the year before, he was the highest earning artist...
Really?
I think so. Yeah. Well, because they started selling off they started selling licensing.
Oh.
You know who I feel bad for is Prince.
Why?
Well, because he never licensed anything.
Yeah, I respect that. I totally respect that.
And the minute he died, his family started licensing everything he ever made. Like, everything. Yeah. And that was like, he wasn't even like quiet about it. He would tell people, he was like, he goes, I hate licensing. I will never do it. And then his family immediately does it.
Well, because they're going to make money off of it.
But it's your relative. Don't you think you should kind of honor that?
Well, no, I agree with you. I'm just saying, like,
I mean, I know why they did it, because they got millions of dollars.
I mean, but then, they get to, if any of them get to heaven and Prince is there, and Prince is like, we gotta talk, sis, like, sit down. But no, I'm a firm believer, like, with me, it's like, okay, God forbid I get to a point where I'm actually making money off of a creative project that I'm doing. Like, yeah, it would be nice to be able to make sure that, like, well, the rest of my life I can make money, right? But, like, when I die, like, I'm dead. Like, I don't need royalties off something.
What about, like, a band, like Nirvana? Okay. Obviously,
Well, you gotta wait till all of them...
You think, okay, so all of them, not just like...
I don't know. What do you think? I mean, that's I would say all of them.
I guess it would depend on the credit of the songs. Like, is Kurt Cobain the only... Yeah. If he's the only credit for a song, like Smells Like Teen Spirit, then I guess it's open.
I guess, if you go off credits and you gotta wait till everybody... I don't know. I mean, that sounds complicated, but at the same
bands
time...
are a little different.
It sounds easy.
Because, if you're the only credit on there...
Yeah.
I don't know. So, what's going on with Taylor Swift's music, too? She's not allowed to perform her own music at the AMAs or something?
So I can set this up for you because I'm the pop culture nerdy kind of guy. But so originally, as you know, her first 6 albums, which is her self-titled all the way up to Reputation, they were under Big Machine, and then
which was a small label.
Yeah, well, it was a label. I think her parents bought the label.
I thought it was just some smaller, like a
or
dude
they knew
started.
Someone. Yeah, I don't quote me on this.
Like,
I could be wrong.
I
think they had a family connection to the label. The parents, took this small label, right, and then it basically became the Taylor Swift machine, Big Machine.
Yeah.
So anyway, her contract was up, and she left. So her new album came out on and what it turned out was
Did she independently release that one?
No, that was with Capitol, I think. I think she does now maintain a lot more rights than she did under her old contract.
Yeah, she doesn't have any of the masters.
Yeah, well, this new album, she owns her masters now.
Well, yeah, now she does. Now she got smart to that, but...
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. It's not about her being smart. I mean, that is literally every record deal and every single deal and artist deal. I mean, you give the label your
That's
rights.
Scary, and that sucks, too.
Well, yeah, and so the big frustration, she said, well, I left because I knew they were going to sell it to Scooter, and he's like
I thought she didn't know. I thought that was a surprise.
Oh, you know what? Maybe she didn't know. I think she knew that she had to walk out
because she could have bought the masters herself, but she didn't know they were going to be sold off.
It was weird. I just know that she definitely kind of got played a little bit. And at the end of the day, apparently they are saying no, she can't play these old songs. But now they're saying yes, she can play the old songs because what she's
that would
do,
look bad on them if she's like, I can't play anything because they won't let me.
Well, she told everybody, so everyone knows already, right? But then here's the thing, though. She's allowed next year in 2020 to re-record those albums.
Yeah, so she's going to record everything.
Yeah, and my question is so she's allowed to keep the melody, it just has to be a different recording?
See, that's what I understand, because it's literally going to, if she goes by that logic, it's going to be the same exact thing. It's like, could I go out and record, I don't know, a XYZ song, whatever the hell it is, and it'd be mine then if it's the same exact thing? Like, how does that work?
I don't know. I'm wondering if it has to be redone. Like, I mean, when JoJo, do you remember JoJo?
Yeah.
With the song, Leave, Get Out, Right Now. When she re-recorded her albums, that song, it sounds different. It's not the same version. So I think they're going to have to be different versions of the songs, which means either, like, the acoustics become, like, poppier, some of the pop stuff gets
just put it in a different key.
It gets reformatted. And I'm wondering, like, is she already working on it? Like, you have to think she can't...
That's a lot of songs you got to do, man.
That's, like, probably 80.
That's a lot of work.
Well, I mean...
That is a lot of work.
She already knows the songs.
Do you know how long it takes to put out one album of, like, 12 songs?
Well, but then you're thinking of that one album. You're thinking of, like, you have to write the songs, you have to write the chords, you have to...
Well, usually the songs are... I don't know. I guess every band's different, but I thought usually the songs were written by the time they hit the studio. Like, they're done.
I mean, it's a whole process. I mean, she's just going to take all those old songs, reformat, re-record, remaster. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this time next year she drops the first 6, like, remastered. Right?
Country stuff too. I wonder, like, how that'll sound now that she's
I don't know. I'm very curious.
She had that twang in the beginning.
She had a little twang going on.
But I don't know if I told you this ever, but the Rock Hall nominations came out.
Yes.
And there's this huge push and, like, online petition to get Weird Al nominated for the Rock Hall. And I legitimately think, like, he should be in.
I agree, because if you think about what he does, it's so unique and no one else does it. And it really is influential.
It's funny. It's very funny you said that, because the first thing is in the article, I forgot who wrote it. Maybe, I don't remember who wrote it, but he is the only artist to ever have a parody outsell the actual song it parodied.
Really? Which one?
A couple of them. It happened with Gangster's Paradise when he did... Amish Paradise. Mm-hmm. It happened with that one. It happened with possibly Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Oh, you think?
It's a really high end song, but it happened like 4 or 5 times where he actually outsold the song he's parodying. But the Rock Hall responded. Mm-hmm. And they said they don't feel he's innovative enough to be in the Rock Hall. I'm like, really? How is Weird Al not innovative enough?
See, I would disagree with that. I mean,
he literally created a genre of music, but somehow he's not innovative enough.
Give it a few years; they got to come around a little.
Do you think he'll ever be? After that, I don't think he will.
I don't know. We'll see. Give it time. Give it time.
He's got to die first.
Oh God! Don't say that. Knock on this lovely top counter. Well, we promised like forever ago that we were going to talk about Myers-Briggs, so we're going to look at it today real quick.
Yeah, I took mine, but I honestly, I kind of know what it means. And don't know what it means. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm also not surprised by what I understand. Mm-hmm. So, do you want me to give mine first?
Yes, please do.
Okay, I got ENFJ.
Oh my God, I have ENFP on this test. But I also did change over. Wait, let me pull up the other test. But you go first. You go first. Yeah.
So I don't exactly know what that means. But it says you have distinct preference of extroversion over introversion. Obviously, I mean that's given, not. I mean, obviously, what I'm doing now even is kind of. You have a slight preference of intuition over sensing.
Yes.
You have a slight preference of feeling over thinking, and you have a slight preference of judging over perceiving. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Exactly.
Well, do you want me to talk a little bit about ENFP?
Yeah, that's what you got. I got ENFJ.
Oh, you got ENFJ. I used to be ENFJ.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually.
How do you switch?
Well, your personality does change over the years. And actually, I think a study says it's not until 35 or so that your personality then kind of becomes consistent.
Oh, so I can still change.
I'd say so. I mean, but, they say, after 35. But I think personality can change, with big events, life events. I mean... There are many factors that can go into a personality. But here, I can go on yours first, which is ENFJ.
Yeah.
So let's go to the strengths and weaknesses.
Clearly I'm an extrovert. I knew
strengths,
that.
You're very tolerant. I'd say you're very tolerant.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm tolerant.
There's a few situations that come to mind where you were pretty damn tolerant of what was happening. Well,
Personal stuff.
I'm not gonna say it on the mic. I say a lot of things on this mic, but that is one thing I'm not gonna say on the mic.
Yeah, I guess I could.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Reliable. I'd say you're pretty reliable.
Yeah.
Charismatic.
Yeah.
You have a lot of charm. Altruistic. I think you definitely do believe in the good of people. Although sometimes
I like to, but
you're reasonable sometimes where you're like, oh, I shouldn't.
The one question on there that I wonder if played into that specifically is humankind is based off good intentions.
Yes.
I was like, that is not true at all.
Literally
not true.
I put the medium on that because I just felt. I don't know. I'm reading a book right now that literally talks about how like humankind is based off of animalistic behavior, and I was like, oh,
people are dicks. I mean, we always have been.
Yeah.
So that is,
you're
at least in my opinion,
natural leader.
Okay.
And then here's your weaknesses: overly idealistic.
Oh God, yes.
Too selfless.
Oh, all right. That
says too sensitive. Fluctuating self-esteem. Struggle to make tough decisions.
I don't like.
You don't agree?
No, those last couples were like could not be closer to reality.
Yeah.
That special was that last one again.
Struggle to make tough decisions. It says if caught between a rock and a hard place, your character type is called a protagonist.
Do you know how
can be stricken with paralysis, imagining all the consequences of their actions, especially if those consequences are humanitarian.
Do you know how long? I know it's not necessarily humanitarian. How long I've been trying to make the decision of buying a new car? Literally the past like 4 months.
Well, and what's funny is this is my old personality type, and that is so true for me too. And as a Libra, I mean, Libras are all about struggling to make decisions. And let's see, romantic relationships.
Go to this.
It's just more like it says. Even in the dating phase, people with your personality type are ready to show their commitment by taking the time and effort to establish themselves as dependable, trustworthy partners.
That's true.
Oh, do you want to look at parenthood?
Yeah.
As natural leaders, your personality type, we're looking at ENFJ, make excellent parents, striving to strike a balance between being encouraging and supportive friends to their children, while also working to instill strong values and a sense of parental and personal responsibility. If there's one strong trend, it's that they are a bedrock of empathetic support, not bullheadedly telling people what they ought to do, but helping them to explore their options, encouraging them to follow their hearts.
Man, this is...
I feel like
this
that
is actually
is
insanely accurate. I mean, this is hitting all the nails.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually...
It says you'll be sensitive, and if your child goes so far as to launch into criticisms about you, that you might be a little upset.
You know who that is? That's my dad.
Yeah. Like, Dad, don't do that. Yeah. Do you want to hear the career paths?
Oh, yeah, let's hear this one. This should be good.
Let's see. Protagonist personalities tab. Let's helping other people. Anything that you like to be helping people. So
yeah,
that's a huge thing.
Maybe it's
it includes social and religious work, teaching, counseling, advising, giving people the chance to grow and learn. You are very good for HR administration, event coordinators, politicians, anything that helps a community or organization to operate more smoothly.
There's part of me that seriously wants to run for like a little city council seat.
Oh my God, you should! I
think it'd be good as like a little, just nothing big, nothing like mayoral, but like a city council seat.
You can totally get on there. Yeah.
But I think that'd be something I'd be good at too.
I know. I think you'd be good at it, and because you're very approachable.
Well, thank you.
Oh, we learned a lot about you today.
That's way more accurate than any of that astrology bullshit we did.
This one's on the 16personalities.com, so you can take the official test with them. You want to hear mine?
Yeah, let's hear yours.
Let's see.
That makes me feel better about myself.
Curious.
Hold on, before you get into this, do you think there's a personality type where you just load it up and like, yeah, you're a dick?
I mean, I think a lot of these personality tests, they're designed to be honest about like, okay, so instead of like being like you're a dick, it'd be like you're probably very blunt, you're very reason focused. You know what I mean? Like, they phrase it in a way where like, because I think someone being blunt, can they come off as a dick? Yeah,
it can be good and bad.
Exactly, and it's one of those.
It depends on what it is.
These personality types are really good at looking at it in the middle. Like you can seriously take any of these things and be like, that's really good or that can be really bad, right?
Like it kind of reminds me of like when you make plans with someone on the weekend. I would much more respect someone if they're like, I don't want to go out this weekend with you. I just want to sit at home. Rather than someone's like, I don't know, I'll think about it. I'd rather have someone be blunt. Who's like, I just want to do shit.
Oh, I'm that kind of person. I'm like, yes, no, yes, no. Well, also my schedule's insane, so like, I'm like yes or no, like pretty instantly.
All right, sorry. Let's go into.
Oh, you're good. So I'm ENFP. So I used to be ENFJ. I used to be like you.
That's interesting.
And then, that was years ago when I took it. And I retook it a couple weeks ago and it changed. So I'm curious, I'm observant, energetic and enthusiastic, excellent communicators. This one knows how to relax.
Well, that's not true.
Okay, but to be fair, I can relax. It's just...
You can, you just don't.
I usually turn it off. I'm like, we're good. Very popular and friendly. Well, if I was popular,
you're very
this
friendly.
podcast would be getting a lot more hits.
Yeah.
Ooh, shout out to the two people.
Twist the knife.
Ooh, but no, I'd agree with a lot of that. But do you want to hear my weaknesses? So you're called in 60 personalities. They give names. So your personality type is called protagonist. Mine's called campaigner. So mine are poor practical skills, which is bad with like upkeep, administration. I admit that I'm more of a big idea person, right?
Yeah.
Find it difficult to focus. Here's the thing. I definitely am scatterbrained, but I can focus in on what I need to focus in on. Mm-hmm. But I get that.
We got too many plates.
This next one, oh my goodness. Overthink things. Oh, do I overthink
Really?
things?
You do not seem like the overthinker.
Where were you before we even recorded this episode when I was overthinking everything?
Okay, well that's a specific case, but like generally speaking, I don't see you as an overthinker.
Well, my biggest thing is like I always like to get perspective on something.
You're very reactionary to things.
Well, something will happen and I'm gonna think of all the different ways it can go forward and like the perspective or someone does something to me and I have to think about all the different ways like, well maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this. So yeah, see, I would definitely say I'm an overthinker.
I was gonna say I guess I'm not in your own head, but it seems like if someone were to say come up to you and say, Matt, that your project sucked or whatever, you'd kind of be like, at least how I perceived you'd kind of be like, whatever. Not just like running in your head like...
My immediate reaction would be like, well, why? And tell me, and I want you to dissect it.
Would you personally openly say that, or is it just in your head?
Oh, no, I'm someone... when I do stand-up at open mics, and there's people that I know, and I'll go up to them and be like, well, what did you like? What did you hate? What needs to be improved? And I want that criticism. And sometimes it sucks because you really think like, oh, this killed and it doesn't, right? And there's a couple of projects that are in the tubes right now that like, maybe it's probably going to be good at least. But, it could be better. And, being open to that criticism. But yeah, I'm always overthinking. I mean, to some extent though, I think there's a point with me definitely where I do submit to like, this is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
The way you were phrasing it. I think like, I get overthinking and then I'm able to finally just like, let it go. Just be like, let it go. Like, but get stressed easily, highly emotional, independent to a fault, which in this one, here's why I agree with it. It says that I loathe being micromanaged and restrained by rules. And
that's true.
I don't like to be tied down. I love the freedom. I'm a wild stallion.
You're your own boss. And you always will be.
What can I say? Well, did we learn a lot today?
I did actually. I like that. I've never actually taken that test before.
Yeah, I'm glad we did it.
You know what we should do next? For next time? IQ test.
It's time.
No, those are so inaccurate unless you go to one of those like actual testing centers.
Well, and the thing is, intelligence is not just about like, can you solve a math problem? It's emotional intelligence. It's physical intelligence to a degree. There's so many.
A lot of it's common sense.
There's common sense. There's street smarts. I mean. Their intelligence is not just limited to like, do you know some history facts?
Well, that's why those online ones are, because if you go to a testing center, they will actually have a person evaluate you as like how you come to the answers. If you like are going back in between two, like that all factors in it. So that's where you got to do. But I did take a IQ test once when I was a kid.
Yeah,
like that was proctored. And what do you think my IQ was? I remember it to this day.
126.
No, not that high.
120.
118.
That's good.
That's not bad.
That's good.
Not bad.
Because 100 is the average, right?
Is it? I don't know.
I'll Google it right now.
I remember there was a huge rumor going on that Bush Jr.'s was 80s.
Oh, yeah. The average IQ, I think it's 100, and I'm Googling. An IQ between 90 and 110 is considered average, and over 120 is superior. Oh, so you're like on the cusp of superiority.
One of my buddies, no joke, who I went to college with, he is a Mensa.
Oh, yeah?
And his IQ, he has a scholarship from it, and he had to go every year to go get his IQ test taken, because it was the way you not only stay as a Mensa, but as for the scholarship. His IQ was an average of like 148. It was insane.
Well, did you know the average range between 70 and 130 is 95% of the population? So if most people are between 70 and 130, 95%, 118 is pretty good in that, if you think about it.
It isn't that bad.
That's really good. I don't know my IQ. I do know my EQ is really high, though. I did an EQ test, which is emotional.
Okay. Here's what I'll say.
And I scored, I think, in the top 10 percentile for that. I should, because I have 2 degrees about this kind of stuff. Like, it'd be really upsetting if I scored low on an EQ test.
Here's what I say about myself personally, is that book smarts, I will admit to you, I'm not the biggest book smarts guy, but I have a lot of common sense. Yeah. And it's so funny, my brother, he's a mechanical engineer, just an absolute whiz. Literally no common sense at all. Like, here, I'll tell you. He's like I said, he's a mechanical engineer. I see him doing all these like equation stuff. Like still, I'm like, what the hell is this shit? The other day, he's replacing his fan. Forgot to turn the power off and zapped the shit out of himself.
Oh,
I'm like,
Lord.
How do you do this as a mechanical engineer, and then you go to replace a fan and you don't remember to turn the power off?
Well, you know what's funny?
What is that?
I always missay and misspell things all the time, but apparently that's a sign of high intelligence. Like today, I was like, okay. Let me set it up for you. We had a guest come into work today, and I walked down the hall, and I said to the people who are on the show I work with for my full-time job that I get paid for, I said, hey, they're here, and they brought candy, and one's like a popcorn, and the other one is like that Mud Flaps candy.
Mud Flaps candy?
Yeah, and that's the exact reaction. And I'm like, it's just mud. It's something with mud.
Puppy Chow?
Muddy Buddies. That was what I was trying.
Kind of same thing?
And it's like... So it's a sign, like, I don't know, that's maybe a bad example, but like, I know what I'm talking about. Right. Sometimes I just don't have the right word for it, or
I can't spell the definitely. Or defiantly. I can't.
Defiantly.
I can't.
Defiantly, Defiantly.
Can't do it.
There's a word, you know what I used to mess around a lot with? Restaurant.
Restau, T-A-U.
Yeah, it's Restau rant. Yeah. That's a tricky one. All right. Well, then we'll see you next time on Thoughts of the Roundtable.
Bye.